What's going on, everybody out there? I don't know why it's only 2 people in this chat, but it need to be way more than this before I actually officially get started. What's going on, Vanta Black and Syndicate J? And if you have not done so already, please go ahead and like the stream. Or like the stream. I'm about to say like the video. I'm so used to doing videos. All right, let's see. Some more people have entered the chat. What's going on? Action. Komet got reloaded. Quasi. Darlene. What's going on? What's going on? Make sure y'all like the stream. Make sure I'm trying to get it to 100 plus likes. Let's do what we did last week. Salute Lucky Lloyd. See live from NYC, Alana Trotman. Kenny, what's going on? Right, exactly. It's been a while since I've last seen you in this chat and just on YouTube, period. It's been a while. You used to stay in these chats. Hope everything is well. What's going on, Darlene? Well, I'm just, while I know some people are probably going to flood in a little bit later and everything like that, but we have a lot of stories to discuss today. If you have been following me on Twitter or follow me on Twitter, you would know that I had said on Twitter that I have about 10 different topics that will be discussed today. And all of the topics I'm going to be talking about, I have not done a video on yet. So maybe stories you're not familiar with or stories that you have heard that you just want me to give my take on, things like that. We're going to briefly talk about her, Quasi, as much as I don't want to talk about her, but I'm going to try to stay on her as little as possible. I'm not going to try to spend too much time on talking about her because she's literally an energy drainer. Yeah, right, Ashton. It's been a long 2 weeks. It's been a long 2 weeks. What's going on, Chris G? But yeah, it has been a long 2 weeks, and because I have 10 different topics to discuss, 3 of them of which you see in the title, and like I said, and more, and I do mean that. Thanks, Kenny. He says, salute my DMV brethren. Be safe out there in our area. Appreciate you. I'm being very well aware of my surroundings. Yeah, 2020 has been a trash year so far, and we're only in June. That's the crazy part. What's going on, Black Knight discussions? But yeah, just a heads up. I know that in one of my videos, the video that I did yesterday, my premiere video talking about the devil, Derek the Devil Chauvin, and those 3 other terrorists, I know that the sound quality was not good in that particular video. Like I said, my microphone that I've had for about 3.5 years now is pretty much malfunctioning on me. So the sound quality in it is horrible right now. But don't worry, on Wednesday I went on Amazon and I found a new microphone, a different brand, not the same one that I had. It's a different brand. And I ordered that one and it's supposed to be here. It says by Sunday. So I should have it before the weekend is out. Now, see, the thing is, what I could have did was have it be repaired. But then if I did that, if I sent the microphone that I have now to being repaired, that means I probably would not be able to make any videos for y'all for the next couple of days or however long it took for them to repair it. So I said, you know what? Now I'll just get a whole new microphone. And the microphone that I got, or the new one I'm getting, was actually cheaper than the Blue Yeti one that I had. And when I say cheaper, I'm not saying that the sound quality is gonna be worse or anything like that. It's just that it's more financially fiscally responsible on my pockets. Not that this one was that the Blue Yeti was expensive or anything like that, because I actually was able to achieve getting that through getting donations. And the reason why I had to get that one is because the one I had before it, I dropped it on its head and it messed the sound up, the quality, it was muffled. So I had to get a new one quick. But yeah, so I am in the process of getting a new microphone. So some of the next couple of videos that I upload, like tomorrow and possibly Sunday, appreciate you, Eric Davis. Like the ones I'm gonna upload tomorrow and possibly on Sunday, the sound is probably gonna sound kind of crazy on those because those videos were already recorded with this microphone. It's definitely on its last leg. But we getting that handled, and I should be getting a new microphone by Sunday. At least that's what it says that's going to be here Sunday. It's actually ahead of schedule because it was supposed to be here based on the delivery time. It was supposed to be here on Tuesday, but it bumped up 2 days. It would be nice if I went and looked at the tracking status and it said, oh, it's here. It's going to be coming tomorrow, but we shall see. Amazon is pretty much doing its own little thing at this point in time. But yeah, that's what I wanted to just briefly bring up as far as equipment goes. But we're gonna get that situated. But salute to everybody else who has just entered the chat. I'm gonna give it about 3 more minutes for people to come in, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Because like I said, I have like 10 topics to discuss, and I can't really afford to stay on each topic for too long because we will be here forever. And I want to cover every topic in this stream, especially because the microphone that I have, it sounds horrible right now. What's going on, Dark Void, B Smurf, Isaiah? Let's see. We got about 3 more minutes. It says I have 63 live viewers right now, but then it says one thing on here, and then it says something completely different on YouTube. So I don't know. Crackhead Joe 211 series. Do I sound like that now, or did I sound like that with the microphone? If it was the microphone, then yeah, I could understand because, like I said, it's damaged. So that's why I'm getting a new one. If that's how it sounds now, that's because I don't use the microphone when it comes to this. However, when I go live again, I'm gonna try it out with the new mic and see how that sound comes through. Because there have been times when I have live streamed with the microphone, but that's when I was using StreamYards. I don't know how it works. I'm not on StreamYards, but on Streamlabs. But as long as y'all can understand and hear what it is that I am saying, as of right now, that's pretty much all that matters. It's just that the sound is not as good. But I gave you my reasoning because a lot of people are going to ask, why do you sound like that? So there, something tells me I'm going to have to explain it again. Give it 1 more minute and then we're going to get started because it's almost 4:10. Appreciate you, John Brown. All right, let's see here. What's going on, brother Danubian? All right, it is officially 4:10. That's, it's weird, like you said, it live from NYC, because it seems like when it comes to the live streams, the notifications tend to always seem to always go out. But when I'm going, when I do the premiere videos, it's like they'll be selective of which ones they want to send out and which ones they don't. It's just weird how all of that happens and how all of that pretty much transpires. But it is officially 4:10 p.m. and we are now officially about to get started with this program. So, I'm sure all of you by now have heard the update with Ahmaud Arbery. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all have heard the update involving Ahmaud Arbery. I'm gonna get some things set up so I can share the screen. Okay, what's going on, Dee Beth? Okay, let me see if I can share the screen right quick. So there has been an update, a very, very important update, might I add, that has come out involving Ahmaud Arbery and the person who was recording it in particular. Let me see if I can pull this up. So in case y'all have not heard, this Three Stooge lookalike from, I forgot which one it is. I'm sure y'all let me know down in the chat. He is snitching on everybody right now. I'm gonna tell you about it, Quasi. It's a very, very good update too. Like, it just came out last night. This was actually one of the last stories I decided to add in my list of topics to discuss. But I said I wanted to talk about it first, since it's a story that has been in the news for a little bit. So in case y'all have not heard, the guy who he did shoot, but the one who was recording the video, the one at the top in this picture right here that you see on your screen, he basically has come out and he is snitching on everybody. Apparently, the story goes that Travis McMichael, who is the son to Gregory McMichael, when they were driving, following behind Ahmaud Arbery, they hit him with their truck. Thank you, 50 Ways to Leave Mo. Thank you. I knew y'all was gonna tell me. He got hit by their truck, like they bumped him. And that's why he was running. He had got bumped by their truck and he was running away from them. Then that's when they got out of the truck, and that's when the whole altercation ended up happening. And then, of course, it was a struggle. And Ahmaud Arbery ended up getting shot, and then he was killed. Now, this is something else I just found out today. I found out that Ahmaud Arbery was getting ready to go to school to learn how to be an electrician. I found that out today. I said, oh, interesting. And I said that would explain why he was looking inside of that vacant house. Maybe he was looking at the wiring, to get a feel, because if that was the field he was going to go into, then that's what he was going to end up having to do. And I think they said his uncle was an electrician. So that's why he was looking at that house. He was looking at the plumbing and the wiring. So then they basically chased him down the street and he got bumped. by their truck. Now, this is all coming from the Roddy Brian, whatever his name is, the one who recorded. This is his testimony right here that he's giving. That's why he's snitching on everybody right now. So after all of that, and they kill Ahmaud Arbery, Travis McMichael stood over his body and he uttered these words, "Fucking nigger." I'll repeat that. After he killed Ahmaud Arbery, he stood over his dead body and called him an effing N-word. Now, of course, we did not see that on camera because the camera cut off right after Ahmaud Arbery was killed. But this is the testimony that is coming from the guy who recorded this. You know how they said they weren't going for a hate crime? They may need to look back into that. Because if his testimony actually sticks, hopefully they can bring back the hate crime. Because then that would show right there he had intent to kill him. And the fact that those words left his mouth would show that it was a hate crime. That's pretty much right there the major update with the Ahmaud Arbery case. And that actually just came out yesterday. If they can get that hate crime back pulled up and they can prove that Ahmaud Arbery's mother will get her wish when she said that she wanted them to get the death penalty. It just dawned on me right quick. It just dawned on me. It's going to be not only is it going to be a long, hot summer, it's going to be a long, hot next couple of years. Because you got to think, you're going to have this case right here. If they can push a Brianna Taylor's the situation going on with her case, if they can push that to a court, that'll be another one. Then, of course, what's going on with George Floyd. That's going to be 3 major cases that people will be paying attention to. Especially since the world is on fire right now. The world is on fire. But we shall see what's going to come of this. What's going on, Bronze Doll? We shall see what's going to come of this. So I'm going to go ahead. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and head on to my next story. And that's going to be involving the Bride of Chucky. Y'all probably like, Torian, where are you headed with this? Y'all probably like, Torian, where am I headed with this by referring to the Bride of Chucky? Y'all are like, what in the world is he about to talk about? Appreciate you, Happy Go Lucky. Now, who has heard the story involving Linda Hogan? Who has heard the story involving Linda Hogan? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all heard the story involving Linda Hogan. Y'all can't tell me that she don't look like the Bride of Chucky, which is why I pulled this picture up. If I was to pull up a picture of Linda Hogan, y'all like, oh, I see the resemblance. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Linda Hogan, of course, that last name. She is the ex-wife to Hulk Hogan. And recently she came under a lot of fire for a tweet that she made on Twitter this week. And what she said was that, in so many words, all of the looters are Afro-American. Those were her words. I know she said Afro-American. She basically said all the looting that was happening, all of it, every last bit of it, were black people. Now you know this heifer is lying through her teeth, because there has been several images and several pieces of video that has proven that this is a mixed bag of people who are quote unquote looting and or rioting. As a matter of fact, I think I've seen more PC people looting than anybody else. I've even seen images of quote unquote cops looting, like running out of the store with boxes and bags and all types of things, as if they were given a 10-minute shopping spree. Appreciate you, Cat PY2. He said Roddy is snitching to protect his cheeks from getting stitches. Probably. I don't know how much is going to actually help him, because I think he's definitely going to serve some time. Maybe not as much as the McMichaels, but I think he's definitely going to serve some time. But yeah, she came out of her mouth and said that most of the looters, or all of them, were black. And because of that, she ended up getting banned from AEW events. And if y'all don't know what AEW is, it's All Elite Wrestling, which is basically a new wrestling company outside of the WWE. It's like very brand new. It actually got started, I think, last year. And she got banned from all of their events. But the thing is that she put that out there as if it was factual. She put that out there as what she said was true. And we know that it was a lie. Like, she was trying to run a propaganda machine. And all she did was run her filthy mouth. And now she got to eat her words. But you know who else actually said something along those lines? And I actually found this out from Town Biz, and shout out to him on a video he did last night. Victor Mahomes' mother. Victor Mahomes' mother. Basically, in so many words, and she too is also a PC woman. You know, Victor Mahomes, he comes from a inter-ethnic background. You know, he has a PC mother and a black father. Plays for the NFL. And she came out and basically said sort of the same thing. I don't think she was as blunt as Linda Hogan, but you didn't really have to dissect what she said. You could understand it clear as day what she meant. Notice that it was two PC women who did that. Not saying that the men haven't been doing that, but the women definitely have been. But yeah, love telling them damn lies. Meanwhile, it's funny that happened, because I think a video that I was watching talking about it, they ended up pulling up a clip of a PC woman with her mask on, walking out of a store with bags full of shoes. Like, all you saw was this big shopping bag with a bunch of shoe boxes in it. Right, Kev X, my bad. I said Victor Mahomes. I meant Patrick Mahomes. My bad. I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, plays for the Chiefs. His mother basically said something along the lines that Linda Hogan said. I mean, I know they want so bad for us to be the face of everything, And it just warms their heart or tickles their fancy just knowing that. But you're gonna have to be upset at the fact that that is definitely not the case. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up right quick. And now I'm going to move on to our next story. Now I know y'all heard this one. I know y'all know about this one. Drew goddamn Brees. Now that fool, no, he needs to be ashamed of himself. But I know he ain't. I know he's not. I know he isn't. Drew Brees. This fool right here is still on the you shouldn't kneel during the anthem and disrespect the flag. I said he has learned nothing since 2016 when Colin Kaepernick did what he did. Or maybe he has, but he is trying to be very, I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, Drew Brees basically came out and said that there should be no kneeling in the national anthem, and that's disrespecting the flag. I'm like, again, for the umpteenth time, Colin Kaepernick was not doing this to disrespect the flag or the anthem. He told y'all why he was doing it. Y'all chose to put that into your head that that's why he was doing it. But man, did the athletic world, most of the black athletes, they got in his ass when he said that. They went in on him. I know LeBron James was one of them, and a few others went in on him as well. All I'm gonna say is this: Drew Brees, you better make the bench your friend whenever the NFL season starts, because they are going to make sure that you are wide open for attack when that time comes. Okay, Bob, you said Patrick Mahomes' mom was defending Drew Brees too? Oh, well. Oh, I guess. What's going on, True Royal? But yeah, he's still stuck on that whole, it's disrespecting the flag, it's disrespecting the anthem and all types of stuff like that. Drew Brees, you should just kept your mouth shut. And I think he tried to come out, if I'm not mistaken, and give some kind of half-ass apology for what he said. Listen, he said what he said, and he meant exactly what the hell he said. The only reason he is feeling some type of way now is because people called him out on it. What you're noticing now is a shift in the tide. In the last couple of weeks since the brutal, untimely death, murder of George Floyd, have you noticed that a lot of people who choose to come out and say these ridiculous things have been getting checked immediately by most people that usually wouldn't do the checking? And shout out to everybody who has entered the chat. I'm actually looking on my phone at the chat and also looking at my screen at the same time. So shout out to everybody who has come into the chat. According to it, it says that it is currently 162 people watching, and I have met my over 100 likes, but I can still get them things higher because it is at 122. Shout out G Rock. This is Compton, California. Shout out to Compton. But yeah, Drew Brees, trash. Trash. You know what this is all about. But like I said, the bench is about to become your friend this season, or whenever it is the NFL decides that it's going to go ahead and get it started back up. Now, this is one right here that I know many of you wanted me to discuss. Moving on to the next one. And that is the topic of Mammy Seals. Who knows about what happened recently with a Mammy Seals? Who knows what recently happened with a Mammy Seals? Put a one in the chat if y'all heard about what happened to a Mammy. Shout out to Roxy Heartline. She says apologies are overrated now. Put your money where your mouth is and do something to show it. Exactly. Actions, actions, actions. That is what we are on. That is the order of the day. Actions. Okay, if y'all have not heard about what has happened with Amanda Seals, after 6 months of being on that talk show, The Real, and I don't see nothing real about it, she did not get her contract renewed. So, in so many words, she was let go from The Real after only being there for 6 months. You know, they was looking for a new host for the longest, and they were rotating people in and out of the position ever since the removal of Tamar Braxton, who you know was originally on the show with the original lineup when the show got started a few years ago. And I'm gonna touch on that soon. So she basically came out and said that her contract wasn't renewed, and then she went on, I want to say Instagram Live, I'm not sure, some platform where she was streaming from, and basically explained why it was. And she was basically saying how she felt like she was the realest one of the bunch. They acted like they were clueless to a lot of the social issues, especially the ones that were affecting Black people and things of that nature. And you know what? In a way, I can actually agree with her on that. I know a broke clock is right twice a day. The day that I actually kind of agree, just even kind of agree with Amanda Seals on something, I know the world is falling out of orbit. Now, y'all know I do not like Amanda Seals. I don't. I am not a fan of hers whatsoever, especially after what she did. Appreciate you, mother of one. I don't like what she did after what happened with Myron Rolle. As a matter of fact, I saw him. He was on CNN today or something like that, and they were interviewing him. I don't like what she did with that. That turned me off about her. And then other things she has done. She's not a likable person. However, when she was saying what she was saying, a lot of people started to point back and say, I wonder if Looney Lust had something to do with that. Now, there was always speculation that Looney was the reason that Tamar Braxton got fired. There was always something swirling around that. She even came out and said in so many words that Lonnie was the reason that she did get fired. And now something happens with Amanda Seals, and now that those rumors start to circulate back around. I wouldn't be surprised if Looney was the reason why she ended up getting removed. I wouldn't be. Like, I remember I actually saw the clip today, where she was talking about Ahmaud Arbery. That's what she was telling the person who was interviewing her. And she said, Adrian, as an Adrian Bylon, Miss I don't wash my hands when I'm at home, Adrian, says that she could not pronounce Ahmaud Arbery's name. And I'm sitting here like, huh? How can you not pronounce a simple name as that? But if y'all go throughout history, there was always a running gag that when it came to Black people's names, even if it was so simple to pronounce, you had people, especially those who are PC, pretend like they didn't know how to say our names, or they made fun of how our names sounded. Shout out to Kev X. He says the real garbage. You right about that? The real fake. It ain't nothing real about that show, in my honest opinion. And I said, you know what? She actually does have a point there. How many of y'all in the chat have had people of another group mispronounce your name, even though it was so simple to pronounce? Like I said, this is not me defending a Mammy, because like I said, I don't care for her. I really don't. Like, stuff that she has said in the past, done in the past, always struck a nerve with me. Okay, so I'm seeing people in the chat agree that yes, they've had times where people will mess up your name and sometimes do it on purpose and try to be funny. It's like you gave them the pronunciation of the name, but you still choose to mispronounce it. But you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, I'm sure. Hey, I don't know if a Mammy Seal's gonna find another gig as of right now, especially with how this daggone economy is looking. But it seems to me that in most cases, from what I'm, been seeing from her, she has burnt some bridges with a lot of people. So it's kind of hard for her to really bounce back from certain things. But maybe she will, maybe she won't. I don't know. Good luck to her in her future, but she won't have one at that place called The Real, quote unquote, anymore. And there's a lot of people that was actually feeling bad for her. Like when I was reading through some of the chats, people were actually feeling bad for her, and all eyes pointed right to Looney Lust. Because they think that she's like the common denominator for that show. So they started at 5, went down to 4, then they played rotation to get a fifth person, they get a fifth person, and they gone back down to 4 after 6 months. What's going on, as Wiseman? You said you think that she's still on Insecure? Well, hey, I never watched the show, so I couldn't tell you. Oh, you said she's going to do her podcast full time? Well, at least she has something to fall back on. But people were even saying in the comments that they felt that she was probably the realest one of that panel up there. I couldn't tell you because I don't watch the show, but just from experience with her, I don't know if I could, fully agree, but maybe she was. Maybe she was. You have to ask somebody who watched the show that question. Don't ask me because I don't know. Vulcan, that's the thing. They want to find someone who meshes with them. Fake. That's what they're trying to find. They're trying to find another fake person. It's funny that show's called The Real, but it's like they just seem so fake. But yeah. Let's see here. What's next on this agenda here? Oh, let me unshare the screen right quick. Let me stop the screen share. So those were the beginning, those were the filler topics. The topics that y'all just heard, like the ones y'all just heard just now, those were the filler topics that you heard. Now we about to get into the, what as True Royal would say, the juicy topics. So let me see if I can go ahead and pull this up here. Let me see. I'm trying to get to the right point of this video so I won't have to play the entire thing. So, who is familiar with the 2 college students down in Atlanta whose names are Messiah Young and Taniyah Pilgrim? Let me see if I can go ahead and share this screen right quick. Who's familiar with that? Okay. So, if y'all aren't familiar with that story right there, you have these 2 college students. One went to Morehouse, one goes to Spelman. Oh, Troy, you did a video on it? Okay. they go to Spelman, boyfriend, girlfriend. And basically what happened was there, and I actually talked about it briefly when I did my video about Keisha, sister girl Lance Bottoms. I kind of briefly spoke about it. But at the time of me recording that video, I didn't have all of the information, but I have gathered that information right now. And I'm actually going to play some of this footage for you right here so you can actually see what happened. Basically, they were two college students, go to Morehouse, and one goes to Spelman. Boyfriend, girlfriend. And they initiated a curfew. They initiated a curfew because of what was happening. Now, this was in the midst of like right after the cusp of George Floyd. This is when the rioters was really, really heavy. And they initiated a curfew and they got in their car and they didn't know that a curfew had been enacted. It was enacted literally at the last minute. So basically, they were trying to go home. They were trying to get up out of there. And then you had these terrorists come and surround them. And you know what? I'm going to in case y'all haven't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and play this for y'all. Now, what y'all are seeing is the body cam footage. Now, I don't think I've seen the body cam footage. I've seen the other angle footage. So this is my first time seeing this. Let me see if I can skip ahead a little bit. So what you're about to see right now is the part where they start pulling them out of the car, or at least try to pull them out. Why is it like he's running in slow motion? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video right there. So y'all saw where the terrorists went and specifically targeted this car. specifically. Because if you saw in the body cam footage, they were trying to get these two out of the car multiple times. They tried to go after them multiple times. So it looked like they were I don't know what it was, like they were specifically going after this vehicle. Shout out to Roxy Hardline. She said you can't pull people out of the car for no curfew. Messiah did his best to protect her. And see, the thing is, it was so much traffic. Because I noticed that someone in the chat had wrote, why couldn't they turn? They couldn't. They were in damn near bumper to bumper traffic. Did y'all see all those cars? Notice they didn't go to none of those other cars. There was cars beside them. On both sides, you had cars in front of them, but they specifically went after them. They were in traffic. They couldn't move. The only way they would have been able to get away is if they abandoned the car and took off on foot. That's the only way they probably would have been able to get away from them. But if they did that, they ran the risk of possibly getting shot for real. And in that moment right there, you're in panic mode. You don't know what to do. Your heart's racing. Your mind is racing. You don't know what to think. And they're being surrounded by all these terrorists. So they didn't know what to do. And the thing is, once they surrounded the car, there wasn't really much they could do. You saw one of them took the baton and started hitting the side of the car. Then they knocked the window out. They tased her and pulled her out of the car first. Shout out to the Aquarian Spaces, as I didn't hear about this. Pulled her out of the car first. And then they went in on him. I didn't think they were going to stop tasing him. And did y'all see the way that he was flinching around in the seat? That was his body reacting to the taser. And then I had saw him give an interview, like either the next day or the day after. And when he was up there speaking, you can tell he was still in shock because he could not stop twitching. Like he couldn't stand still. When they send all those jolts through your body like that, because you know, if you hold a taser on somebody for so long and you increase the voltage, that can kill you. You said, did I know that they lied and said they had a gun? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. They had to have a story to conduct in order to try to justify what they did. But when he was up on that podium, he was twitching from the after effects of that taser. I don't know if the girlfriend spoke. I know she was up there beside him when he was speaking, but he was twitching. Like he couldn't even look straight at the people when he saw. He kept looking to the sides. But I think they interviewed him and his girlfriend maybe a couple of days later, and he was fine after that. He just needed to but they had to push him out there in front of the media because the video ended up going viral. Exactly. They tased them in the car when they couldn't get out. And they surrounded them. There wasn't really after that, they couldn't do anything to them. Now, of course, it was another angle that people had saw where you had this PC woman looking at the camera and she was smiling and waving at the camera. I don't know if she knew what was going on behind her or not, but it was from that car that was in front of them. But like I said, they specifically went after this couple right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the screen share right quick because I want to pull up the image of the terrorist that was responsible for that incident. If I can find, okay, I found it. Cool. Found it. Now, wait till y'all see this. Hold on. Look at this. Those are the 6 terrorists that are responsible for what happened to that guy and to that woman. Notice, majority of them are black. It's only one PC person in the bunch. One. This is why when a lot of black people say we need to police our own communities and everything like that, I said that sounds good on paper and in theory. But if you are to police your own communities, you need to vet whoever is going to do it. Because I will be damned if these are the ones, not the PC male, but the other 5, I'll be damned if those are the ones to do it. Now, initially starting out, they had only fired 2 of the men. And I had first thought that the 2 that they had fired were the only 2 black men out the bunch. I said, oh, so they're doing that again. But to come to find out that 4 of them, not 4, but 5 of the 6 were black. I said, oh, really? DJ said it's police culture, doesn't matter what the color. Of course, they bleed blue. They don't see any other color but blue. Now, like I said, 2 of them were charged, and they weren't charged. They were fired. Then Keisha, sister girl Lance Bottoms, had to come back when people pushed back against her and said, no, you need to get all of them who were involved. So they went back and they charged all 6 of them. And I want to say that they also that they indicted all of them. I want to say that they did. But do you know that they actually charged the 2 students with something? They actually charged them. But eventually the charges were dropped. They should have never brought any charges against them. Here's the 2 right here. This is a picture of them right here. I don't know what news outlet they were on, but here they are right here being interviewed. Crazy, right? But yeah, they did have the charges dropped against them, and I hope that they lawyer up someone who is not Sleaze Merritt or Benjamin Crump, and they sue that damn department. The only thing is it's going to end up coming out of the taxpayers' pockets. I just have the biggest feeling that I know who's going to get the major punishment behind this, and that's going to be the 5 black terrorists. The PC one, I'm not sure, especially since he's in the minority. You know what this also reminds me of? Y'all remember what happened with Freddie Gray? Y'all remember what happened with Freddie Gray? When it was split kind of down the middle of who did what. Like you had like 6 PC, not 6, 3 PC, 3 black. But then of course all of them pretty much got off. And then you're gonna have, I'm waiting for this one, if they haven't said so already. You can't say that this was racism because the majority of the cops were black. I'm just waiting for a white person to say that, because you know they love to say that. Doesn't matter, when they throw on that uniform, they turn into someone completely different. That was the last time I think we had an actual uprising, but of course it wasn't as widespread as what's going on now with George Floyd. But yeah, I am glad though, however, on the upside, that that these 2 are okay. I know that they are very traumatized. This is definitely going to be a day that they will never forget. for sure. I'm almost 100% certain they never gonna forget this day. Because this could have ended worse for them. Like, it could have ended way worse for them. And they always talking about, oh, black people need to have some kind of a trust level with the police. I said, this stuff right here on a minor scale is exactly why many people do not like the terrorists. And now the society at large is slowly turning against them. They're losing the support of the people that they thought was going to back the blue forever. Even they're starting to turn on them. I don't know if y'all heard, and I'm just slipping this one in here now. Did y'all hear about that story that recently came out? I'm not sure where it happened at, where it was an old white guy. I think he was 75, got pushed so aggressively by one of those terrorists that he fell and hit his head and cracked his head open. They said he was leaking all over the place. They said he was bleeding out of his ears, which basically means instant brain injury. And they said that, I think they said he's in stable condition right now, but he's definitely in the hospital. You said it wasn't, okay, you said it was in New York. Okay. Yeah. And someone caught that on video. Like, if you go online, I'm sure if you look it up, you'll be able to find it. But they pushed him hard, and he fell and hit his head on the ground, and it busted his head open, and he was bleeding out of his ears. To the PC people out there that might be listening right now, because of everything that's going on, and they see that you, quote unquote, have joined the, quote unquote, movement, now they are taking it as you are now their enemy. Because if they can push down an elderly man who happens to be white, what do you think they'll do to you if you are, say, around my age? I said they better hope that man doesn't die. Now, they say he's in stable condition, so that it's not critical. But let's just say that he was to die or pass from his injuries. The NYPD or whatever department that is, they would have hell on their hands. Yeah, like I said, they're starting to slowly turn against them because of what's happening. They feel that the people that they have protected for so long is betraying them by going against them, even in an instance where they know that they should. And now the world is seeing this just across the globe. They said that this is probably one of the biggest, quote unquote, civil rights movements ever since the 60s. It's probably, they say they believe it is eclipsed it because of how fast it's happening. You got to think back in the 60s, they didn't have smartphones. So they couldn't document these type of events. You just had to basically go off of what you heard. Stuff moved a little bit slower back then. It took time. Now we live in the information age, the technological age, where things moving at a rapid pace. You just pull out your phone and you record. And the thing is, they have gotten so they've become such rebels, and I'm talking about I'm talking about the terrorists, that they don't care when they're being recorded. They almost welcome it now. That's what's scary about it. Because in their eyes, they don't see that they're doing anything wrong. And I've told y'all about that NYPD. I've told y'all that the NYPD is like in the top 5 for me of most corrupt police departments. And I still stand by that to this day. Live from NYC said even in Brazil they're protesting and rioting because police killing their black kids too. Yeah, like I said, it's global, but here's the thing. It's more than just them putting the spotlight on this because of George Floyd's situation. This was what ignited it. But also, what it's doing is it's also putting a microscope not only on the states in America because of their police brutality, but it's also putting a spotlight on the police brutality that happens around the world. Police brutality is not something that's just conducive to the US. I would say that is very extreme, more extreme here, but it's not conducive to just here. So it's putting a spotlight on everybody else who is dealing with this problem as well. But I will say that without the shadow of a doubt, in the States, it's definitely much more violent, for sure. I mean, look over in the UK, over in London, they don't even allow them the cops over there to have guns. Why? Because it took one incident of police brutality over there, where it took where someone was shot, way, way, way back in the day, and they decided, okay, no more guns. Y'all are not going to have any more guns. That's why over there in the UK, they don't. When it comes to police brutality, it usually doesn't happen with a gun being involved. Why do you think over there is mostly a lot of knife attacks? Knife attacks. That's mostly what happens over there is knife attacks. And depending on how quick you are, you can get away from a knife attack rather than a gun shooting because a gun is a projectile weapon. See, exactly. Happy Go Lucky says it happens in London all the time, but they're not a gun country. Because I don't even think the citizens over there can own a gun. I mean, they probably could, but we know that the police aren't armed with one. All they have over there is probably, their a nightstick, some mace, their cuffs, and that's about it. They don't carry a gun. But they're not going to do that over here because America is very, very, very pro Second Amendment. They're very pro gun over here. And see, also another thing is they know that they can't win in a fight. How many times have we seen the police try to go toe to toe with a black man and get their ass beat every single time? I never forget. I saw that video where it was this big. It was like a big black guy. I know it sounds very stereotypical, but he was. And these terrorists were going after him. He had that one terrorist try to swing on him with a nightstick and ended up losing his footing and he fell. I'm like, yeah, you don't need to be a cop. You already lost already. If that guy wanted to stomp your face in, he could have. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that little piece about that guy and that older 75-year-old man who got pushed so aggressively. I mean, he pushed him hard, like he had an axe to grind with him. It sounded personal. Nikki Britt says, check out Scarcity Studios if you want to hear about gun violence. Okay, I'll check it out. I will take your word for it. Let me see here. All right, let me see. What's the next topic I want to discuss? Like I told you, we have quite a few topics we're discussing today. Let's see. What's the next one up on the list? Okay, let me see. Okay, the next one I wanted to talk about, the next story I wanted to discuss was the David McAtee story. Who's familiar with this story right here? Who's familiar with the David McAtee story? Oh, we already know about Laura Ingraham, rap god. Miss Shut Up and Dribble, her, yeah, we already know about her. Okay, well, basically, David McAtee was I called it a store, but he really was a restaurant owner. He owned a restaurant, and in his restaurant, he was known to serve a lot of cops. Like a lot of cops would come and frequent his spot every now and then, things like that. And basically, what happened was, in the midst of all the rioting, looting, I'm just gonna call it an uprising. In the midst of all of the uprising occurring and going on, he ended up being killed by one of the people in which he used to serve. Yes, Lucky Lloyd, the cops shot him. They shot him and they killed him. Now you had like some people were saying like, I'm not gonna say that they were saying that that's what he gets and everything like that, because that's a bit extreme. But it is messed up, because it's amazing how it all just came full circle. Like, you used to frequent this guy's spot, and in the midst of you trying to get at these other people, you shoot and you kill this innocent person who was a business owner. I'm gonna see if I can pull the story up right here and read it to you. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. Let's see here. And this, by the way, happened in Louisville, Kentucky. Ironically, what else happened in Louisville, Kentucky? The murder of Brianna Taylor back in March. Let's see here. I'm trying to find an article to read. Okay, I found one. It says David McAtee, who turned his talent for food into a popular West End eatery, was shot and killed by law enforcement officers early Monday morning. Now look at that. This happened a week after George Floyd was murdered, in an incident that is now under state, local, and federal investigation. McAtee, the owner of Yaya's Barbecue in Western Louisville, was known as a community pillar, said his mother, Odessa Riley. He left a great legend behind. He was a good person. Everybody around him would say that. My son didn't hurt nobody. He didn't do anything to anybody. Riley was among the hundreds who had swarmed the corner of 26th and Broadway Monday, where Louisville police and National Guard personnel were breaking up a large crowd that had gathered in the parking lot outside of a Dino's Food Mart, according to law enforcement officials. LMPD Chief Steve Conrad said in a statement that someone shot at police, and officers and soldiers returned fire, killing McAtee. So basically, what it sounds like to me is that he was just a victim of a stray bullet. And that bullet just happened to come from the chamber of one of those terrorists. So to me, that's basically what it's reading as. Oh, I'm glad you said that, Jamal Bay. He said today would have been Brianna Taylor's birthday. She would have turned 27 today. I'm glad that she said that. Yeah, today would have been her 27th birthday. You know what I know so crazy? Ahmaud Arbery, his birthday would have been last month. He would have been turning 26, I believe, and she would have been 27 today. Yep. You said Black Knight. You said the media claimed that he shot it. Of course they did. Just like with the other story when someone said that they claimed those two students had a gun, but there was no gun recovered. And now they claim that this guy shot at them. Of course, because they got to find a way to justify what it is that they did. But yeah, it just sounds to me like he was the victim of a stray bullet. Now, what makes this story even more tacky is, and let me see if I can pull it up, is this person right here, this chick right here, whose name is Katie Cruz. This bitch here, this PC female, decided it would be a good idea to mock the death of David McAtee. So let me go ahead and read this little piece right here. One of the terrorists involved in the fatal shooting of Louisville business owner Dave McAtee, so she was involved, Katie Cruz, was reportedly placed on administrative reassignment on June 1st. As a result, Cruz was discovered to have made troubling posts about the protests for George Floyd on her Facebook page prior to Monday's shooting. Cruz posted a Courier Journal photo of a demonstrator handing her a flower and captioned it in part, "I hope the pepper balls that she got lit up with a little later on hurt. Come back and get you some more, old girl. I'll be on the line again tonight." I swear the PC woman literally tries her best to outdo her man when it comes to racism. And in some circles, many would say that they have outdone them. I don't care what she identifies as. All I know is she's a racist ass bitch. I think we can all agree to that. But yeah, she was mocking another dead man, like many of them are known to do. How many of y'all have been seeing these posts lately where you've had these PC individuals going around kneeling on people's necks? Now it's crazy. They hate it when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during that anthem, but they want to kneel and mock black people when they're dying. Make it make sense. We don't know if she was the one that shot and killed him, but they just said she was involved. So she was there. We don't know if the bullet that killed this man came from her gun. They just said that she was there. So, but all they gave her was administrative reassignment, meaning she's just working at another desk. She didn't get fired. And see, this is the stuff we're talking about here. This is an example of what we've been talking about. This is why people are outraged, because they don't get the proper punishment that they should be receiving. They give them these little light taps on the wrist, and we're supposed to be just okay with that. I said that's not true punishment. But then again, these are the same departments that are known to have their own quote unquote internal investigations. They love having internal investigations, which is exactly why the nation is on fire right now. But RIP to this man, condolences to his family. I mean, the man owned a business. Hopefully, somebody there will pick up where he left off and keep the business running. But let me go ahead and move on to the next story. Now, I think this story in which I'm about to discuss is a huge reason as to why many of you are here. And if y'all look at the title of which I gave this stream, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me see something. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because I'm not even going to play the video behind it. I'm just going to talk about what occurred based on what I have been seeing. Okay, let me see here. Let me go ahead and share the screen again. All right, so y'all can see it. We are about to be talking about the Latin Kings game. Now, if y'all follow Harvey, like I know most of you do, I think he recently just talked about what happened in Cicero, Illinois, or somewhere around that area. Now, this story, like I said right here, has so many moving parts to it. It's absolutely ridiculous, like really ridiculous. And I actually found out about this on Twitter. That's why I keep telling y'all, y'all need to get on Twitter, because a lot of the stories that I do be getting come from Twitter. It comes from it. So basically, the Latin Kings is basically a gang. The name practically speaks for itself. That their sector in Illinois is called Little Village. I think it's a little bit outside of Chicago, or maybe in Chicago in their own little sector. I don't think it's too far from Cicero. Quasi said Cicero. And Lucky Lloyd said the Satin Queens. Y'all are crazy. But basically what happened was they claimed that they wanted to protect their neighborhood from looters and violators and rioters and all types of stuff, stuff like that. And there was video that circulated around where they actually were, in so many words, I don't care what they say, because this is what it looked like to me. It looks like they were giving protection to the terrorists up there. It looks like they was giving them protection. From my vantage point, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like to me. And they claimed that they were protecting, quote unquote, their neighborhoods from being looted and everything like that. I have no problem if you want to protect your neighborhood. As a matter of fact, that's one of the most unquote things you can do. However, when you claim you are protecting your neighborhoods, but it looks like you're only targeting one group of people, it does not look like you're trying to protect your neighborhood. It looks like something completely different. It looks like something completely different. Because I don't know if y'all heard, but there was a story that went out where this black family was simply driving through that area. Because based on what I've heard, because this is what I've always heard that Illinois is one of the most segregated states in America. I've heard that a few times from people who are from there, to the point where I believe it now. So it was a black family that drove through there. I think it was a older black man, a younger black man, and a pregnant black woman. And when they rode through there, the Latin Kings went up to this vehicle and pulled these people out of the car and just started beating on them. And I want to say, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the people died. And the woman who was pregnant got badly beaten. So to me, it doesn't look like they were trying to quote unquote protect their neighborhood of anything. And I'm almost certain that it was more than just black people who drove through there who were not quote unquote of the Latino community. I'm sure it was other groups that came through there as well. But they attacked this family. I'm assuming that this is a family. and pulled them out of the car and started beating on them. And they only did it to the black people. Now, if they had did this to other people who were actually doing something, then okay. But here's the thing. This family was not doing anything. They weren't going around smashing windows or throwing Molotov cocktails. They were just driving through. And they went up to them and attacked them. So when I actually learned, when they call themselves the Latin Kings, it took me back to a couple of the sundown stories that I've done on my channel, where it said that a high population of Latinos live in a certain area. And I said, oh, now it makes sense. So I'm guessing, I'm looking in my chat, and the people who calling them the Satin Queens, it sounds like y'all are familiar with them. Because the way that y'all typing that, it almost sounds real personal. Like y'all are familiar with them. Like this is something that they're known to do. You said they only attack soft targets. Oh, we're gonna get to that, Lucky Lloyd. We're gonna get to that. Don't get ahead of us now. But they basically, like I said, they attacked this family, like this black family, for no reason. Because it's been, this goes back to why I said what Linda Hogan and Patrick Mahomes' mother said was dangerous, saying that most of the looters and rioters and everything like that were black. That's the dangerous part about it, because they will eternalize that and put it out there, and people will fall for it. Man, you know what I've noticed? It's easy for people to fall for bad propaganda when it comes against black people. It's so easy because they've already internalized that's how we are. But anyway. Well, that was short-lived, because guess what ended up happening? Shortly after the attack on this black family occurred, appreciate you, I laughed at spilled milk. He said, myth of progressive north slowly disintegrating. Yep. A lot of people think that racism doesn't exist in the north. They couldn't be more sadly mistaken. But anyway, shortly after this black family ended up getting attacked, a couple days later, maybe even a day later, you had a black gang who goes by the name GD. Y'all can type it in the chat. Who drove up and down, and the video to this is actually on YouTube, and that's how I know about it. They drove up and down that area where the attack happened, where the Latin Kings reside at. They drove up and down that area fast as hell a few times. Multiple cars. And then maybe after the third run through, all you heard was pop, 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 pop. That's all you heard. And it went on for maybe a good minute. And it's interesting because the Latin Kings had balls of steel just a couple days ago. Shout out to Mark Stewart to keep it 100. Always. Went back then, they started shooting. I don't think any of them got hit, because I didn't hear anything about any of them getting shot or anything like that. But it's funny, they had all this smoke for these quote-unquote rioters and looters. But when someone put it in there, when the gangster disciples came back and rolled through there, they was running for cover. I don't think either one of the Latin Kings shot back at them, because I don't think they had a gun on them. I don't think either one was strapped that day. Otherwise, they would have shot back. All I saw from the person who was recording was him running for cover, and all you heard was the gunfire in the background. Rick Black Chart says the Latin Queens cutting the deal with the cops again. This just confirms that those in that area have been working with the Bacon Bit Brigade. Oh, well, I didn't know that they've worked with them before. Like, I thought that this was their first time actually doing it. But you know what? I don't know why that didn't kind of click in my brain, considering how easy it was for them to, quote unquote, work with the enemy. But yeah, they went right back through that area and fired off on them. Now, I don't know what has happened since then, because it kind of went cold, if you can say that, after that occurred. But like I said, the video for that is on YouTube. I'm not going to play it on here because I know they would probably cut the stream short if I did that. So I'm not going to play it on here. I'm just looking at the chat right now and seeing what y'all are saying. Rap Guy, you said there's also Asian games in the Shy. I can believe it. I can believe it. Yeah, you said Willie D did a follow-up. I'm going to have to go look at that. Oh, Alex Brown, you said they squashed it. I bet they did. You want to know why they squashed it? Because they wasn't about that life. They had to concede. They had to concede. They probably like, I bet y'all, and you know what? They was like, this was a warning. These were warning shots. They probably like, if we really wanted to deal with y'all accordingly, we could have. These were warning shots. That's why they squashed it, because they knew they entered into a battle they knew they could not win. McAtee, was that recent? Was that recent as in that happened this week with the shootout, or was that like in the past? Like I said, they had to concede because they were going to lose. Oh, so it did happen. So one of their people did get killed. Okay. Well, see, that's all it took. And see, and the thing is, it didn't even have to come to that. It didn't even have to come to that. But this shows you right here, a lot of people be thinking that black people don't be on code. You just saw on code happen. So the Latin Kings got on code and said they wanted to protect their neighborhoods and everything like that. They attacked this random innocent black family, and what happened? A black gang came right back around like the next day and fired off on them and ended up killing one of their leaders. And boom, they squashed it. But see, mainstream media is not going to talk about that. That's why you got to come here. You got to come to us, because we're going to give it to you the way it should be. As wise men, I can believe that, especially since out there, I've always heard about how the Latino gangs out there would firebomb these black residences. So I can believe that, especially since now California, and most of California has a heavy Mexican population. Yeah, see, by them killing the leader, they couldn't go on without the leader. So they killed the leader. Well, as they say, that's all she wrote. But let me go ahead and work my way on to the next story right here. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Oh, let me see if I can find the story behind this one. Now, the story that I'm about to bring to you, this actually just came out a few days ago. And I actually posted the link to the article on my Twitter account when I learned about it. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. It says, video captures police officer in Florida kneeling on a black man's neck. Looks very familiar. Shout out to Solo Dolo. He said they love going after soft targets, of course. I've talked about that plenty of times. Now, I don't have the audio playing. I didn't even know the video was going to play. It kind of played automatically. So to my knowledge, and I believe that's the guy right there. They said his name is Patrick Carroll. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that this incident happened before George Floyd. I want to say that it happened about a week or two before George Floyd. It played out almost the exact same way. Darling said, "Here we go, Florida." Right. I didn't realize it was Florida until you just said that. I know I haven't talked about Florida in a while. But it says video captures police officer in the Florida kneeling on a black man's neck during an arrest. I'm trying to see exactly when it happened, because I don't think this was it was recent, but not that recent. Because like I said, I want to say it happened it happened before George Floyd. And they said it was a 13-minute video. 13 minutes. I heard about that rap god. I think that was in Chicago. Was that Chicago or New York? Where they put the knee on this black woman's neck? Like I tell y'all, these are terrorists. They are acting out as such. Exactly. Ratchet ass Florida Quasi. That's exactly what it is. Now, luckily for this guy, he's not dead. He's not dead. He is still breathing. He most likely, of course, barely could breathe at that point. But yeah, there was a story that did come out about a black woman who was in that same position as well and had the knee pressed up against her neck as well, where she couldn't breathe. I'm telling you, I wouldn't say these terrorists are out of control, but you know, it's a terrorist. They don't have any self-control. Like, this guy could have been the George Floyd before George Floyd. But see, now expect more of them to try and continue. Get off my screen, Anderson Cooper. They're going to try and continue to do stuff like this constantly over and over and over again. And have not one care in the world when they're doing it. Yes, live from NYC, I did hear about that. And I knew he was going to catch the charges too. Like, you put yourself out there. See, that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate backfire right there. That's the ultimate backfire right there. Like, this guy went out there with the intent of shooting black people with a goddamn bow and arrow. And not only did he lie when he said he got jumped by 2 black men, but now he has 3 felony charges against him. And mind you, he already had a record prior to this. I think he did some jail time before. Oh yeah, they went in on that fake ass Robin Hood. And it was mostly white people that was going at him. It was a mixed crowd, but the first people I saw strike him was a white person. And I think one of them had a skateboard in his hand. I know that skateboard had to have hurt. I know that had to have hurt. But I just wanted to bring you that story right there. Now, this next story right here, I promise you that unless y'all are on Twitter, or something to that effect, you may or may not be aware of this story. Let me see if I can pull a picture up. Now, this story too has a video that's attached to it, but I'm not going to play it because one, because the video is long as hell, and two, I already know that YouTube is going to snatch it down because of the content of it. Let me see if I can pull this picture up. Okay. Here y'all go right here. Who has heard the story involving this person by the name of Ayanna Dior? Who's heard this story involving someone by the name of Ayanna Dior? Now, if y'all can see right there at the bottom beneath the picture, it pretty much gives away what I'm about to discuss. Mocha Latte say you have Crystal Crease says had. Okay. So let me give you the rundown of this. First, before I even get started, this Ayanna Dior is not a woman. Biologically born, a male, meaning they have the XY chromosome. Now, this is where the Academy loses us yet again. And you'll see why when I explain this. So this story is coming out of Minneapolis as well. This is coming out of Minneapolis as well. And this happened a couple of days ago. So basically, the story goes that this Ayanna Dior person, because this is the name they go by, was under the influence. They were intoxicated. And they drove to a gas station, or maybe rode with some people to the gas station. And when they were driving in, they tried to park in between two cars. Now, they tried to squeeze their vehicle in between two cars that they knew they couldn't fit into. I saw the clip of that. Like, they squeezed their damn car in between two vehicles that they could not fit into. Like, it didn't look like a valid parking space. Like, I don't know how the hell they got there. And I believe they hopped the curb as well. And they said they did damage to like 4 or 5 different vehicles. Okay. That's the beginning of it right here. Now, I believe one of the vehicles that the person hit belonged to this woman, this older woman. Well, maybe not that much older. I would say she could possibly have been maybe in her upper 30s, possibly. This woman went into the store after this Ayanna Dior person did to go and confront them and say, look, you just did damage to my car. You just did damage to my vehicle. And you didn't try to say that you were wrong or anything like that. This Ayanna Dior person gets into a verbal, which led to a physical altercation with this woman. And then, not to be outdone, ends up hitting this woman's minor child. Now, some stories are saying that the daughter, because it was a girl, some are saying that the daughter is 14. Some are saying that the daughter is 17. Either way, the daughter's a minor. The daughter's under 18. And then that's when it segues into it being a bigger issue, like a bigger escalation. Then all of a sudden in the video, you see a bunch of people start to, like when a fight about to happen, you know how we like to gather around and shit like that to see what's about to happen. They all start to bum rush inside of the store of the gas station. You hear the mother on the outside talking from the outside while the Ayanna Dior person is still inside. It's like they're trying to keep them separate because they already know that the mother is ready to go in on this person. Fast forward a little bit because I'm speeding, like I'm kind of summarizing the story based on the video that I saw, because the video I saw was almost 20 minutes long. The mother finds a way to get back into the store while the Ayanna Dior person is in there. They get behind the counter because I think they tried to keep Ayanna Dior behind the counter. The mother of the daughter that was hit gets past the worker. And then that's when the beat down commences. The mother goes in on this person's face. I mean, y'all, I might post a link to the video and y'all can actually go see for yourself. The mother goes in on this person. I mean, I'm talking about like some Royal Rumble type shit. Because there's some images where the Ayanna Dior person has bruises on their face, so you can actually see where they were hit. Starts hitting them and everything like that. They have to separate the mother from them, and then all of a sudden, some other women come in and started beating on this person too. And then all of a sudden you see a guy grab Ayana Dior by the head, like in a headlock, and carry them outside, not to put them in a headlock to start beating on them, but to get them out of the store. It's just like from a vantage point, it looks like they were trying to, hit on this person. Now, I'm gonna get to that part on Mocha Latte. I'm leading up to that. So what happens is they get Ayana Dior out of the store. Then all of a sudden they go back into the store. Like they felt like they weren't done. I'm like, you do realize you just got your ass beat. You want to get beat some more. Then the part of the video that I'm getting to is the part where everybody stops and focuses on. And this is where I have an issue with the Academy, especially those who are in the T class and their supporters. I saw so many, well, I didn't watch the videos, but based on the title, I saw so many people who talked about this say in the title, uh, 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 a trans woman being attacked by transphobic black men. I'll post the link. They said black men being transphobic. Let me see. Okay, I have the link right here. I'm posting the link in the chat. It's 18 minutes long. They said black men, transphobic men attacking trans women. Are black men the most transphobic people ever? Black men this, black men that. But in the video, the first person to hit this person was a woman that was defending not only herself, but also her daughter. Now, people were saying, well, okay, whatever, but it shouldn't take all those men to beat down one person. They were willing to overlook the fact that this person came up in there intoxicated, damaged some vehicles, was talking mad shit, assaulted not one but two biologically born females, women. And they acted like that was okay. This is no different than when white people excuse the stuff that they do. It's no different. I'm talking about no accountability. And if you notice, if you go and look at some of the people that react to this, they only react from like the 7-minute mark on forward, where the confrontation gets physical. And after the mother hits Ayana Dior. I noticed that when I was seeing some people react to that, because they needed to frame it that black men are transphobic, that we don't like the LGBT community, we hate the Academy, and all that, because they had to push that narrative that that's how we are. But they were willing to overlook everything else that happened before that. That's why many of us have an issue with the Academy. Because y'all help push this propaganda machine that they have put out there. And then here's the other thing that got me. They were saying, then they started putting out the hashtag Black Trans Lives Matters and everything like that. See how in that instance they try to separate from the group? I've even heard people who are from that academy say that they can't stand people who are in the T class. I've heard that. They said they wish they were never a part of that group. Because they said some of them are some of the messiest people ever. And notice every single time something occurs with them, the T class, is usually something that they started, but then once everything happens, they try to go into victim mode. That's something that PC women are very good at doing. Now, this person, this Ayana Dior, to my knowledge, has not filed any charges to my knowledge. I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure. Good question, Ashton. Why aren't they calling the mother transphobic? But I don't know if this person has filed any charges or not. If they have not, that basically shows right there that this person knows they fucked up. because they're going to try to examine everything. They're going to, if they could find out that this person was, 1, under the influence, 2, caused damage to other people's cars, 3, assaulted not 1 but 2 people, you really don't have a case. And mind you, you may walk around pretending that you are feeling that you are a woman, but DNA wise, genetically wise, internally wise, you are still a man. When you hit that woman and her daughter, that was the equivalent of a man hitting them, not another female. This is another reason why they were so iffy about the bathroom situation, the restroom. But they couldn't wait to say that black men were transphobic. Let's be clear here. The reason why this Ayana Dior person was hit the way that they were wasn't because they were trans. That wasn't the reason why. But they're framing it as if that is why that occurred. And I'm trying to figure out why my numbers are dropping. Is it because I'm talking about this? I was at 180 something, I dropped to 131. But yeah, a lot of the times when stuff happens to people in the T class, it's not because of the lifestyle that they choose to live. A lot of the time it's because they're deceivers. It's a reason why the T class has the nickname Decepticon. Because a lot of them are not honest with people, especially those who they probably want to engage with in an intimate setting. And then when they find out who they are, it's a wrap. Have all these type of gender reassignments and everything like that, and they're not upfront with the person that they're with. The least you could do is actually be honest, and then let that person decide whether or not they want to be with you or not. But see, they're scared that they're going to turn them down, and they're probably scared that something may happen to them. That's just like when I think it was a story that came out of Texas, where it was someone in the T class who ended up getting killed by somebody, I think it was a black man, because they weren't honest about who they were. But the way that they framed it, and I'm talking about the academy, they said that he was transphobic. They probably were. I mean, I don't know, because like I said, my live count was way higher than 128. But yeah, I bet you this Ayana Dior person won't do that crap again. But like I said, the way that they framed it to make it seem like it was only black men that attacked them, that was messed up. Because it wasn't. If you go and look at the video, you'll see for yourself. But they had to frame it that way because they're pushing that big black boogeyman narrative. Like they felt like they had to do it, even though that wasn't the case. But let me move on from that story. But I think I might have one more story to talk about. I'm not sure if I do or if I don't. You know what? I don't want to address her, but I'll address her in this small little instance. Basically because of a tweet that Phil from the Now Africa Diaspora Network posted on his Twitter account yesterday. Okay, I hate to bring her up, but I have to. And that is none other than the Coonstress. I know. Y'all probably, oh God, what is she about? What did she talk about? Some of y'all probably already aware of what she said or what she's talking about. So, in case y'all have not heard, the Coonstress, she came out of her mouth yet again, talking a whole bunch of shit. Shout out to Live from NYC. Said great live today. Appreciate you. She came out of her mouth yet again and basically said that she does not support George Floyd and that he was no hero. Before I tear her as a new one, Phil over at the African Diaspora Network had posted a tweet. See, now I know they probably did something with my views. Okay, I talked about that daggone academy, and my view count dropped to 115. Now it just jumped back up to 122. But anyway, the constress basically said that George Floyd was no hero. She wouldn't support him. Okay, bitch, you are like one out of how many people who are supporting this worldwide. Thank God you don't speak for the masses. But Bill posted a tweet in which he said, and I actually said, oh, it turns out that Candace Owens' husband, family, used to own slaves. I know that's not so shocking. And let me see if I can go find what he actually said, because I responded to it. And I'm mad that I might have to dig through to try to find what I said, because the response that I gave to that was epic, in my honest opinion. Let me see if I can find it. I might have to go onto his Twitter account and see what see if I can find what he said, because that was epic. The response I gave to him. Okay, here it is. He said Candace Owens' family was involved in the slave trade. That's where the farmer family got their wealth. So that female is literally married to former slave masters. Candace married people that would have made her a slave in 1620. I came back and said she's being a slave 400 years later willingly. Now, on to what she said. I didn't watch the video. All I'm going based off on is those two key things. She said, one, he was not she said she doesn't support him. Okay, whatever. You are like one of the small few that are saying that you don't support him. Okay, fine, whatever. You don't speak for the masses. But then she came back and said that, what did she say? He was no hero. Exactly. He wasn't a hero. He was a victim, you idiot. And nobody out here is calling him a hero, last I checked, except you. She's the only one that referred to him as a hero, even while trying to bash this man in death. If I was her family, I would sue her ass off for defamation of character. Riri the Brownson girl says she uses George Floyd to talk about black on black crime because she went hard in the paint on that topic. I shook my head. That was her whole. Yeah, that's why she did it. Every time a black person dies or gets killed by these terrorists, here comes this bitch talking about black on black crime. Every single time. It never fails. Have you noticed that? She did it with George Floyd. She did it with Ahmaud Arbery. I'm not sure if she did it with Breonna Taylor, but I know she did it with those two. This heifer looks like a whole goddamn Martian in the face and in the head. I keep telling myself that I will not address her, but people keep asking me, and I have to just give my little 2 cents on it. But yeah, her moment cannot come fast enough. It's even gotten to the point where even other white people be questioning her mental state. Like, they like, what the hell is wrong with this chick? Like, seriously, what the hell is going on? This woman literally is like, get out. She doesn't mind having that teacup clink a few times. That woman revels in the sunken place. And mind you, this is the same chick that had racism come her way when she was in school. When she was in school and sued her school for like $35,000, dropped out and took the money and ran. but wants to claim racism isn't a thing. I can honestly say I think Candace Owens has to be like the #1 female coon on the planet. I don't think any other female is out cooning her. I don't think so. At least in my eyes. I don't think so. Now, when it comes to Brandon Fakem, I'm not going to say his actual name. He's the male version of her. Like, y'all know who I'm talking about. He's like the male version of her. He literally says some of the same things that she says. She says most of the same things that he says. It's like literally hearing the same people talk at the same time. I don't know what Candace Owens' living conditions were when she was growing up. I don't know what if she came from a middle class family or if she was a struggle family or whatever, but she couldn't have been struggled that much because I think didn't she go to like Harvard or something like that? No, Julian, she out bed winches those two by far. By far. Because this woman literally thrives on being the mouthpiece for for the PC, and she believes every word that comes out of her mouth and everything she said. I remember this one day. This woman went on a whole tirade about so-called black on black crime. That's all she tweeted about for like the entire day. Everything she tweeted about that day had something to do with so-called black on black crime. You wouldn't dare see this woman tweet anything about the crime that goes on in white communities. You wouldn't dare see this woman talk about anything involving opioids. You wouldn't dare see this woman talk about anything involving school shootings. If that was come up in the news, she would twist it back to black on black crime. That's just how she is. That's her. But don't worry, she's gonna get her moment. And she almost came close last year with the Hitler comments that she made. She was very close to being put on her ass last year. That was her warning. But even then, some white people got off cold with that and defended her. That's how much they love her. That's how much they love her. That they will get off cold with each other just to keep her there because they need her to be the coon whisperer. They need her to be the bed wench decipher. That's why I call her the coonstress, because I don't think I've ever seen any female coon the way that she does. Like, this is uncanny. It is unheard of. This shit should go in Ripley's Believe It or Not. But that takes care of her for right now. But I wanted to talk about one last thing. It was another thing I wanted to discuss, but that particular story has yet to come out. And if it doesn't come out today, then I'll have to do it form it into a pre-recorded video. I just wish that it could have been a live stream. So we are about to talk about 45. And the reason why I'm about to talk about him now is because this is actually coming from a post I saw on Instagram. Let me see if I can pull this up. So people were saying that, white people love to claim that Donald Trump isn't racist and all types of things like that, that he does a lot for black people. You even have these goddamn people like the Coonstress and Brandon Fakem and that mushmouth Terrence K. Williams coming out and saying that black people need to support 45. He's the best thing that happened to black people. Even had one that said he's the most pro-black president ever, which is absolutely ridiculous because I don't think any president has been quote unquote pro-black. I'm gonna just be honest. And things like that. Well, on Instagram, I came across this post that was posted a few days ago by this user. It was posted on Instagram, but the screenshots came from Twitter, and their username was at Honey Rainfall. And in quotation, she wrote, "Name one time Trump was racist." So instead of them naming one time, they named several. And I'm going to run down for you the date and what event which made him racist. 1973, the Nixon administration sued Trump for refusing to rent to black people. 1980s, Trump's casinos were accused of hiding the black staff when Trump visited. 1989, Trump took out a full-page ad arguing the death penalty for a group of black men, the Central Park Five, effectively putting a bounty on their heads and plaguing them with a lifetime of death threats. He was sued by the Justice Department for discrimination. 1991, black guys counting my money. I hate it. The only kinds of people I want counting my money are short guys that wear yarmulkes every day. I think that the black guy is lazy, and it's probably not his fault because laziness is a trait in blacks. It really is. 1992, Trump's casino was fined $200,000 for transferring black dealers off certain tables to appease racist patrons. 1993, Trump said Native American casinos shouldn't be allowed because they don't look like Indians to me. 2000, Trump ran a series of attack ads against Native American casinos, alleging with no proof that they were guilty of crimes. 2004, Trump fired a black contestant from The Apprentice for being overeducated. 2010, Trump argued in favor of segregating Muslims in Lower Manhattan. 2011, birtherism. Trump alleged that Obama was Kenyan based on nothing but skin color, but never apologized or renounced that claim. 2015, and there was multiples in 2015. Trump called Mexican immigrants rapists who are bringing crime and drugs to the U.S. Trump called for a ban on all Muslims entering the U.S. Trump called for a Mexican judge to recuse himself based on nothing other than his race. Paul Ryan said this was the textbook definition of a racist comment. In 2016, Trump regularly retweeted material from white supremacists and neo-Nazis during his campaign. Trump tweeted a picture alleging that Hillary was Jewish or controlled by Jewish people. The Trump campaign adopted Nixon's law and order rhetoric, which was based in racial fear-mongering. Trump told black voters, "What do you have to lose?" In 2017, Trump asked reporters to set up a meeting with the Black Caucus simply because she was black. And then he said, "Some very fine people on both sides." That was, of course, from Charlottesville. Trump said people from Haiti all have AIDS, and people from Nigeria would never go back to their huts after seeing America. In 2018, Trump called Haiti and African countries shithole countries. Trump referenced the Trail of Tears to mock Elizabeth Warren, even though she even came out and said that she was not Native American, but he was still mocking people of Native descent. It says Trump tweeted that 4 black and brown Congress women should go back to where they came from, then attacked Elijah Cummings, then Baltimore, then Al Sharpton. And finally, in 2020, Trump called black protesters thugs just days after calling white protesters very good people. Then he threatened to direct the military to shoot the black protesters in the streets. So, I just read for you that whole timeline of the racist stuff that at least was made public from 45 over the years, going back to 1973. Appreciate you, Solo Dolo. Now, mind you, this guy just took a picture holding the Bible like this in front of that church. I think it's called St. John's Baptist Church. I swear this man wants to be the stash. We're just going to him the stash. I hope y'all get what I mean when I call him the stash. He wants to be the stash so bad. Y'all saw when he was walking out of the White House and he had the police, the terrorists, shoot tear gas at the people and canisters and everything like that to get them to move. That's not something that is traditionally done in this establishment. That looks very dictatorish, and we all know that that's the lane he's trying to get himself to go into. Yeah, Alana, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. She said, and then he said George Floyd is happy where he is and would be disappointed about these protests. How the fuck would you know? How you gonna try to speak for a dead man? That's where they have no shame, none. And something else that happened. If y'all saw the clip, because as y'all know, I live close to DC. If y'all saw the clip online or maybe on the news, he had a military, I don't know if it was a military helicopter or not, but he had a helicopter hover above these protesters at a very low level. Well, I'm talking about low level, lower than they should be, and sprinkled out motor oil on those people. He sprinkled out motor oil on those protesters, or had them sprinkle out motor oil so they could disperse. I told people back in 2016, yes, Vin Malaji, I'm so serious. I told people back in 2016, after he got elected, if y'all was around back on my original channel, I said that the people would regret putting this man in office. They may not see it now, they may not see it the day after, or next week, or next month, or even next year. But here we are, 4 years later, and this is who they voted for. They voted for him. I think they even said now he had his wall built around the White House that's like 8 feet high and has barbed wires around it. And I think they said that he's not even in DC right now. I think they said he in Maine. Mocha Lock said, yes, I have seen that prediction. And I'm not going to say what that prediction is, but you're right. The Simpsons have not been wrong yet. So we shall see what comes of that. But yeah, that's what he's trying to head himself or the direction he's trying to send himself into. He wants to be that dictator so bad. He realizes now he's in way over his head. He has lost control. For him, I think it started with the woo woo. I think that's where it began. But he did not expect this to happen right on top of it. Oh yeah, Quasi, he did run into the bunker. He ran his ass into that bunker. I said, I bet he hopes that they got Wi-Fi down there. Otherwise, he can't tweet. But we shall see what happens going forward, because this is just, like I said, it's a lot. It is a lot to digest when it comes to him. Yeah, he built the wall, but not where he wanted it to be. Not on that border. Exactly, Great Black Shark. But I'm gonna say just one more thing before I head up out of here, because I've been on here for over 2 hours. All of what is happening right now could have been avoided if they would have just did the right thing, and that was properly charge and arrest Derek Chauvin. This could have actually been avoided if Derek Chauvin didn't do what he did, period, to be quite honest. But because they didn't, it's look at what it has led to. It's their fault. It's on them. Now the fuse has been lit, and I don't think it's going to go out anytime soon. And I don't know if y'all saw um the memorial that they had for George Floyd yesterday, but I said out of my mouth, Amy Klobuchar's ass did not deserve to be there at all. It's because of her and on her watch why Derek Chauvin was able to maintain a job for all these years while having all these charges. They said that they had a combined total of charges and complaints over the years that equaled out to 25 to 30. Derek Chauvin had 18 alone to his name. He had 18 complaints over the years to his name. Out of the 30 combined. The other ones, I believe, came from the Asian. And let me say it right now, that whole thing about the Asian and him being the brother to the ex-wife or the soon-to-be ex-wife, that's false. That is not true. That is not true. Because people put it out there and said that that they believe that they were related. No, they're not. But she should not have been there. Because she allowed that tyrant to stay on the police force for as long as he was to commit all the terror that he did. But I believe Floyd Mayweather did pay for the services. And even though Kanye be on that stuff, I have to commend him for what he did. If y'all don't know, Kanye West set up a college fund. I think he set up a college fund for his daughter. And it's crazy because George Floyd's daughter name is Gianna Floyd. And I think back to Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and her name was Gianna as well. So now you have two, well, it's kind of a double, it's kind of like a double win because you have a Gianna that is still alive that lost her dad, and then you have a Gianna who died with her dad. It's crazy. But yeah, you know what? I'm actually thinking about doing the live streams weekly, like maybe Fridays around the same time every Friday. I have to see if that's what I want to if that's what I want to do, especially since the one I did last week was a good one. I had a pretty good turnout for this one as well, especially since I don't go live as often. So that's something that I'm thinking about doing it. And also they said that George Floyd got a whole bunch of money in that GoFundMe. They said that's probably one of the biggest GoFundMe campaigns they've ever seen. Like I think they said that thing reached like $8 million, and I think that's mainly because of global support. Oh, you said the funeral was tomorrow. Yeah, the funeral was tomorrow, but the memorial was yesterday. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and in this stream, I've been on here for over 2 hours. I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about. Like I said, it was one story I wanted to talk about, but the information hasn't come out about it yet. But it's more like an update story, but I have to wait and see what that is. And when that comes out, that'll go into a pre-recorded style video. But shout out to everybody who came through for the stream. Shout out to everybody who stayed. Shout out to everybody who donated. And back to the regularly scheduled programming. Oh, and by the way, like I said, if I do the live streams once a week, that means that live streaming is going to be the only thing that I do on Friday. So just a heads up, don't look for any videos from me on Friday if that's how I'm going to go ahead and do it. So that means my uploads will be Sunday through Thursday and then on Saturday. But y'all have a good one, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.